What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket.
It's July, which means it is the second annual Dockery Docket America Month. To celebrate, every Thursday in the month of July, we will look at a historical fact from the United States of America. Here come some facts now. World War II was a time for experimental techniques. Some of them worked too well, like the nuclear bomb, and others sounded like they might work, but were kinda silly. In a secret operation called Project X-Ray, the United States created a new bomb. But instead of dynamite, the bomb was filled to the brim with Mexican free-tail bats. With timed incendiary bombs, which are bombs that don't explode, but they create a chemical reaction which then starts a fire. It's almost like how napalm works. So the bomb was dropped, and then a parachute would open up, making sure that the bats were safe inside when it landed. Then, the compartments holding the bats would open up, releasing the bats into the city. The bats would then roost in attics or homes 20 to 40 miles away. Then, the incendiary bombs would release their chemical reaction and ignite a fire in people's attics. This could have been a very effective strategy because they wanted to use it in Japan and their homes were mostly made out of wood or paper. This bomb was tested once at the Carlsbad Army Airfield Auxiliary Air Base near Carlsbad, New Mexico. During this test, the armed bats were accidentally released and the bats decided to go under a fuel tank. The incendiary bombs on the bats went off, leading to a fire that destroyed the Carlsbad Army Airfield Auxiliary Air Base. Tests of the bat bomb were stopped in mid-1944 because it wouldn't be ready until 1945 and was costing the United States military $32.5 million in today's money. Instead, they decided to focus more on creating the nuclear bomb, but the destroying of the airfield showed that this silly idea could have been very destructive. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here at our very 130th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So, usually when it comes to politics, all the stories seem to be depressing. Or they cause an anger to boil up inside of my very soul, then I start to yell during the podcast, and then my family asks me if I'm okay. Like, for example, there was a recent video that came out this week of people claiming that they are queer, they are here, and they are coming for your children. The world is ending. Russia is attacking Ukraine. Donald Trump is going to jail. Everything is racist, and it's all your fault. There are riots on the street. January 6th was bad. Blah, 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 blah. These are all the stories we get. However, sometimes there is a story that comes out that is almost like a diamond in the rough, a breath of fresh air. A story that is full of silliness, mystery, and controversy. As on July 5th, a day after Freedom Day, it was reported that cocaine was found at the White House on Sunday, July 2nd. This story put a smile on my face because we all know who the culprit is. We all know whose cocaine it was. Come on, even your dog knows that Hunter Biden has had a cocaine addiction for a long time. We have all seen the laptop. We have all seen the photos of him in a bed with a crack pipe in his mouth. It has to be Hunter Biden's crack, right? It has to be. Well, I wish I could confidently say, yes, it was Hunter's. I mean, if it looks like Hunter Biden and it smells like Hunter Biden, then it more than likely should be Hunter Biden's. However, the media is trying to spin this story and its narrative to show that Hunter Biden is completely innocent of this drug smuggling crime. So it is time to play my new favorite game on the Dockery Docket channel. Whose crack is that? Is it A, Kamala Harris's crack? B, Hunter Biden's crack? C, Donald Trump Jr.'s crack? D, a random person or construction worker's crack? Or E, we will never find out because the media will continue to cover for the Bidens. Make sure to go down below right now in the comments and guess whose crack that is. So just like any great mystery story, this story has a lot of twists and turns because it has changed so much just from when it was first reported on July 5th. As it was first reported that the cocaine was found in a library, as after a police officer found the substance, a hazmat team had to come in to get the substance because they didn't know what it was. They didn't know it was cocaine at the time. It could have been a nerve agent and it could have been dangerous to be inhaled, so they had to evacuate the White House and bring in a whole hazmat team to get this powder. So someone in the hazmat team said to bag up the powder in the library. This led many people to believe that the library that they were talking about was in the residential library or around the place where the president lives. This led to many to speculate that it was Hunter Biden's cocaine, because if it was in the residential area, then that means it was either Joe Biden's, or Hunter Biden's, or maybe it could have been a Secret Service agent or something like that. But it narrowed down the pool if it was in the residential area. However, the information changed as it was discovered that it wasn't in the residential area, which opens up a whole can of worms because it means that the pool of people that could have brought in this cocaine just got a whole lot larger, as it was then reported that the cocaine was found in the West Wing in a holding area. Now, who can go into the West Wing? That's a great question. Thank you for asking. Well, according to the New York Post, the White House is open for public tours and the West Wing is a more controlled environment and only accessible via personal invitation or a connection with a staffer. Still, more than 4,000 West Wing tours were recorded as having been taken in March. This goes deeper, as once again, according to the White House, the bag of cocaine was found in a cubby area where people who are on tour put their phones and other belongings that may not be allowed on the tour. Apparently, you can't take your cocaine on a White House tour. Who knew? However, this story once again gets very interesting, as looking at the website, which talks about taking a tour at the White House, the security is extremely strict, as they tell you not to bring a lot of stuff. As the website mentions to bring as little as possible, they ask guests to avoid bringing in backpacks, food, large handbags, water bottles, and other large things. So let's say, for example, you bring something that you aren't supposed to bring into the White House. Well, the White House website mentions nothing about cubbies where the White House claims where the cocaine was found. As according to this website, it is important to note that security at the White House is extremely high. If your hotel is nearby, we suggest leaving your belongings in your room during the tour. If this is not possible, there are a few other options. You can designate one member of your tour group to hold everyone's belongings. That person can take the self-guided tour once his or her group has finished the tour. So you accidentally bring your purse or your backpack with you, well, someone has to stay back and hold on to that stuff until your tour is done, and then they get their own tour afterward. It also mentions that people that took the Amtrak are able to check luggage in at Union Station. There are lockers at Union Station where you can put your stuff, but this website says nothing about a cubby area in the West Wing of the White House where people can put their belongings. To me, looking at this evidence, it doesn't make sense that a random person that was on a tour would drop their bag of cocaine down, even if there were little cubbies to put it in. It would be way too risky. There are cameras around every single corner. There are Secret Service agents everywhere. There are people that are there on the tour with you. I personally think that someone would have caught that person and mentioned it to the Secret Service members, or a staff member that is doing the tour. If a person were to dump their cocaine in the West Wing of the White House, the person would probably have to be very comfortable with the Secret Service, and the Secret Service wasn't suspicious of that person. This could be Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, or it could have been one of the many staff members that work in the West Wing. As according to the New York Post, typically the West Wing houses many offices and key employees, including the White House Chief of Staff, Press Secretary, Communications Director, and National Security Advisor, along with their different advisors as well. So this shows that it is a very heavy and busy environment with a lot of people walking around and working. This was expressed by Andrea Mitchell of MSNBC as she questioned the narrative of a random person bringing in the cocaine. Take a listen to this.
This was found, and it was found by my observation in a much more secure place, limited access place than that West Wing reception area. It's still a frequently trafficked place, but it's down near the Situation Room, right off West Executive, down below. And normal people, average people just can't get in there, even with the entry from the Northwest Gate.
Well, let me bring you up to date with the reporting that I have. What we have learned is that there are, in fact, two West Wing entrances. You know that, I know that, but for the benefit of our audience. And now the investigation has progressed, and so they're saying the West Executive entrance, which, as you noted, is closer to the Situation Room and closer to the Navy mess, where there's the facilities for food and so forth. It is also next to West Executive Drive. That's where, for example, the vice president's vehicle is parked.
So she is saying that the powder was close to the Situation Room, which I don't even believe is on the tour list. And according to her, if you're just an average citizen, you can't just walk in there. The second lady in that clip, whose name I don't know, I'm sorry, said something very interesting. As she said, there are two entrances into the West Wing, and the one where they found the cocaine is close to where the vice president parks her car. If average people can't go in there, and only a select few people can go through there, and it being close to where Kamala Harris parks her car, could it be that the White House is trying to throw Kamala Harris under the bus and claim that she is the one that brought the cocaine into the White House? Well, with Kamala Harris becoming one of the least popular vice presidents in modern history, is there any possibility that they're gonna blame the cocaine on her to get her off of the ticket? Now, this is a big stretch, and I don't think Kamala Harris would do something so stupid, and there is no evidence of this. I just like to keep the suspense up a little bit. Then the story gets more interesting as a new culprit arrived, as according to the White House, the Situation Room was under construction and has been closed and not used for months. As according to Jack Sullivan, who is the National Security Advisor, explained, the Situation Room is not in use and has not been in use for months because it is currently under construction. We are using an alternative Situation Room in the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. So the only people going in and coming out of the Situation Room in this period have been workers who are getting it ready to go. So is there a possibility that someone dropped these drugs in there because it was under construction and no one would have known who that person was? Or could it have been one of the construction workers that was using cocaine? Along with that, Sullivan also said that all White House employees follow rigorous drug tests and drug use policies are taken extremely seriously. So it looks like if a White House worker was doing cocaine or a construction worker was for some reason bringing his cocaine to work, they would have been caught eventually. There were also people on social media claiming that the cocaine was Donald Trump Jr.'s, which is even more ridiculous than saying that it was Kamala Harris's cocaine, because Donald Trump Jr. has been out of the White House for almost 2 years, and you would think that the Secret Service would have found it by then. But one of my favorite Twitter posts about it, being Don's Crack, came from this account that started writing random names about Trump Jr., saying that he was Trump Jr., Don Jr., McCokehead Jr., and they also called him other names. And then they posted a meme saying Hunter Biden's addiction is a national security threat, and then the meme shows Donald Trump Jr. with different faces, which means he is 100% on crack. If you make a weird face in a picture, it means you're on crack. This is seriously the only evidence that the left has of Donald Trump Jr. being on cocaine. Badly timed pictures of him making a goofy face. Guess what? We know that Hunter Biden has done cocaine. He said in an interview that he used to sniff Parmesan cheese thinking that it was crack. And according to the laptop, there were pictures of Hunter Biden with a crack pipe in his mouth. Along with that, there was a new photograph that emerged that showed Hunter Biden driving 172 miles per hour with a crack pipe on his way to Vegas to go have some fun with some hookers. So do I think that Hunter Biden is the culprit for this cocaine at the White House? Yes, I do. To me, it seems like the only viable option. We know that he has a cocaine addiction or has struggled with it before in the past, and it just makes sense. However, there is one more mystery, as according to the White House, the Joe Biden family wasn't there when the cocaine was found. So that means that it wasn't Hunter Biden's, right? As Kareem Jean-Pierre had to try and clean up this Hunter Biden mess, as she was asked, can you say once and for all whether or not the cocaine found belonged to the Biden family? And well, she snapped. Take a listen to this.
There has been some irresponsible reporting about the family, and so I got to call that out here. And I have been very clear. I was clear 2 days ago when talking about this over and over again as I was being asked a question, as you know, and media outlets reported this, The Biden family was not here. They were not here. They were at Camp David. They were not here Friday. They were not here Saturday. They were not here Sunday. They were not even here Monday. They came back on Tuesday. So to ask that question is actually incredibly irresponsible. And I'll just leave it there.
So the Bidens weren't there Friday, Saturday, or Sunday when the cocaine was found. But, there are reports that the Biden family didn't leave for Camp David till 6:30 on Friday, June 30th. That's 48 hours before the bag of cocaine was found. That's some pretty big evidence. Hunter Biden had enough time to put the cocaine somewhere in the White House at that time. And along with that, on the 4th of July, when the Bidens were watching the fireworks, Hunter Biden looked high as a kite. Just take a look at this. It's absolutely crazy. If you wanna hang out, you gotta take her out. Cocaine. If you wanna get down, down on the ground. Cocaine. If you got that loose, you wanna kick them blues. Cocaine. When your day is done and you wanna run. It even looks like in that clip that he's sneaking away to sniff something, but I can't confirm if that's true. But his eyes are all big, he looks crazy, he looks like he's high. He must have found another baggie somewhere. However, if you have trouble believing that Hunter Biden had enough time to drop the cocaine on the Friday before they left for Camp David, then there is other evidence that speculates that Hunter Biden has been living at the White House, or at least has been around the White House a lot. As after he pled guilty to not paying his taxes and getting a slap on the wrist by the IRS, which I still believe is corrupt by the DOJ, Hunter Biden was spotted at a White House dinner celebrating the Prime Minister of India with Merrick Garland there. However, that was months ago. That doesn't mean that he was living at the White House, right? Well, Hunter Biden has a case going on in Arkansas, as a few years back, Hunter Biden got into a relationship with a former stripper named London Roberts. Well, London Roberts ended up becoming pregnant with Hunter Biden's kid, and Hunter Biden ran away from the situation. However, he was still paying child support. However, Hunter Biden wanted to get these different child support charges reduced because he claimed that he was poor. Sadly, it looks like Hunter Biden hasn't done any Ukraine deals recently. Anyway, the whole lawsuit is focused on Hunter Biden handing over his financial documents to prove that he is really as poor as he say he is. Well, he doesn't want to hand over those documents, and London's lawyer wants Hunter Biden to go to jail until he releases those papers. So how is Hunter Biden avoiding this? Well, by living in the White House, of course. As a lawyer for London Roberts' legal maneuvers have led to rumors of Hunter Biden living in the White House. As if he is living in the White House, he is avoiding being served legal papers. There have been numerous sightings of Hunter Biden at the White House for the past 6 months. As recently, Hunter and his family were spotted trailing his father and the First Lady onto Marine One for a weekend's trip away to Delaware or Camp David, or a long vacation away from the White House. So yes, Hunter Biden was at Camp David when the cocaine was found, but if Hunter Biden and his family were living in the White House, there's a possibility that he put the cocaine somewhere in the White House. Along with that, as I've already mentioned, Hunter Biden had time to dump the cocaine on Friday before he and his dad decided to go to Camp David. Listen, we have no cocaine in the White House for 2 years of Joe Biden's presidency. Heck, we haven't had cocaine in the White House in forever. And all of a sudden, Hunter Biden just comes out of nowhere and boom, there's cocaine. We know he has a cocaine addiction. We know that he's had trouble with cocaine in the past. And of course you would think that it was Hunter Biden's cocaine. But no, the media has to run out there and protect Hunter Biden in everything he does. As going back to that whole Hunter Biden and child support scandal, apparently Hunter Biden got his child support payments cut. He also gave the woman some of his priceless paintings so she can sell them and get money. Along with that, he also stripped his daughter of using the Biden last name, meaning that this child can't be like her father and make millions of dollars off of her last name. How does Joe Biden respond to all of this? Well, by claiming that Hunter Biden's daughter isn't one of his grandchildren, which to me is just sad because the little girl is well aware that her grandpa is the president of the United States. But all of this is just swept right under the rug. It shows how terrible of a person Hunter Biden is, as he is leaving his own child out to dry. And the media just says, oh, well, that's Hunter. Hunter forgot to pay taxes. Oh, Hunter, here's a slap on the wrist. Oh, Hunter, you illegally purchased a firearm and had your girlfriend throw it into a dumpster next to a school? Let's just give him a fine. Oh, Hunter, we have text messages of you claiming that you are sitting next to your father while you're trying to get a Chinese operative to give you money? Well, let's just claim that that isn't true. Oh, Hunter, the laptop was Russian misinformation. The conservatives are all pouncing on Hunter Biden when he is this innocent character just trying to get over a cocaine addiction, and he's bringing cocaine into the White House. It's annoying because if you, the average American citizen, were to do the crimes that Hunter Biden did, you would be in jail, and everyone knows it, but they just let him go. The thing is, they will test this bag of cocaine for fingerprints. They will check the security footage and everything else. And if they find out that it was Hunter Biden's cocaine, they won't report on it. Instead, they will say something stupid like it was a tourist bag of cocaine. And there is no way that it could ever be Hunter Biden's. And then the story will just be dropped. And then a few years from now, it will come out that it was actually Hunter Biden's cocaine. And it'll just be a big old joke. Ha ha ha, remember when the president's son brought coke into the White House? That was hilarious. 1 year in the future, it might be one of my Dockery Docket America Month facts. Hunter Biden, I believe, is a terrible person. He has lied, cheated, and stolen his way to the top. He was flying around the world in an airplane picking up bags of cash for Joe, but the media still defends him at every turn. People will say, well, he's not the president. He's just the president's son. That's funny coming from the party that claimed that Donald Trump Jr. was a crackhead and was also a Russian agent getting money for Donald Trump. They literally accused Donald Trump Jr. of what Hunter Biden is doing right now, and they are getting away with it. So while I am glad that this story is a diamond in the rough and a breath of fresh air, and it is one of the more funnier stories of the month, I will say that I am not 100% sure that the cocaine was Hunter Biden's. But I will say that I am 86% sure that it was his. And I'll make sure to update you on if they find out who the bag of cocaine belonged to. I just get annoyed with Hunter Biden doing something stupid and the media just says, oh, Hunter, it's all good. If nobody is above the law, then prove it to me. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving. Goodbye.